Good Friday morning, everyone. It's coming on to a beautiful weekend here in East Tennessee. And some beautiful things are happening and taking place across our nation, as well as in our own backyards in some places, such as Western North Carolina. I don't know if you got chance on YouTube this morning to see Oliver Anthony's speech that he gave about some things that were going on in Western North Carolina and his thoughts on the use of digital media and what it's doing to certain segments of our society. Mostly all of us are addicted in some form of another, either to a telephone or a broadcast on YouTube or Rumble, or especially the young people with the use of TikTok and the distraction that takes place in their mind and the reshaping of their mind, and in some learned circles believe that it is changing even the DNA of some people that are highly addicted to digital services. But if you have an opportunity, well, I'm going to just show you exactly what he had to say. If you'll be patient here in a little while, I'll put it up. But we're going to go on to several topics that we have to talk about today. Topics that are among things that are going on right now. We just finished the first full month of this new administration. We all know that mainstream media is trying to shade it as things that you need to fear. Let me tell you, plain and simple, the things that you need to fear the most right now is mainstream media and their ability to lie with abandon, such as what Joe Scarborough did this morning when he was telling us, and this is verbatim, that Donald Trump called in Zelensky to fire the prosecutor over there or he would withhold money. Is his memory that short that he doesn't realize that we saw on film with shameless abandon Joe Biden sitting over there telling them unless they fired the prosecutor looking into his son's dealings with Burisma, that he would withhold the money. So now they're going to blame Donald Trump for that action as well. How they get away with bending the truth the way they do on Morning Joe is almost a crime in itself, and they lie with abandon. And this is why half of this population that are in the streets, and if you looked at Jesse Waters last night, his man in the street, Johnny, was out talking to people about why they were protesting the Doge actions, and they had no clue of what they were talking about, and that is clear and evident in most of these uprisings that you see where students and people are in the streets with the signs that are written for them or by propagandists that want to put them in the street and in some cases pay them to be in the street with no or little knowledge of what they are talking about. It's almost a crime in itself. But Joe Biden will not be happy with the press secretary yesterday bringing in some cohorts and talking directly to the presser about the amount of transparency that has taken place in 1 month compared to what we saw from the Biden administration in the entire 4 years. Almost hard to believe, but true. We need to pray for these people in government that are misinformed. We need to pray for the people in government that continue to think that we, the people, are the stupid peasants, and so on and so on. But I'd like you to take a look at this. It will, in some cases, bring misty eyes to most of you that really have hearts and care about these things. But take a look at Oliver Anthony here.
I appreciate for your opportunity, for your time. I've only got a few minutes here, so I've written some things down so you don't have to listen to me ramble. But there is an evil I have seen under the sun, the sort of error that arises from a ruler. Fools are put in many high positions, while the rich occupy low ones. I have seen slaves on horseback, while princes go on foot like slaves. Since August of 2023, I have received a flood of messages, social media, email, handwritten letters. I've had I don't know how many conversations with people face to face, probably thousands at this point. And I realize now that we don't have any clue to how many around us are really broken, how many are silently suffering and barely hanging on. More often than not, they start the message with, "Hey, I'm a nobody, but," followed by horrors of addiction, mental illness, financial and household struggles, oftentimes incredibly complicated stories that I suspect they may have never told anyone before. But they still have hopes of a hopeful future, and they don't want to give up no matter what. And it kills me because these people, they aren't nobodies, as they describe themselves. Our modern society's convenient, comfortable, fragile little existence is oftentimes carried on the backs of these self-declared nobodies. And forgive my generalization, but in the modern world, we are so busy idolizing the genuine nothings of society, the self-centered celebrities, spineless politicians, clickbait social media influencers. It seems from my perspective that oftentimes these people live comfortable little lives while many of our real heroes are dragged through the mud and never once given a genuine thank you for it. But it's not just them that are hurting. We all are. I mean, that's why you're here at this conference, right? That's why people have traveled from all over the world to gather here. You all realize that it's time to do something. So to set the record straight, I'm not here as an intellectual or a psychologist or a politician or even a respected member of society, all things considered. I'm a high school dropout who lives in a log cabin in the woods in Virginia. I myself am just a 32-year-old nobody. So I'm just here today as the messenger. I believe that many of the problems identified at this conference are quite possibly symptoms of a bigger problem. We currently exist in an age of rapid digital immersion. The current average American teenager will have spent something like 30,000 hours by the time they are 30 on social media. The average American spends 6 to 9 hours a day staring at devices. And whether it's a city sidewalk, a family dinner table, the receptionist at an office, even people driving their damn cars down the roadway, I constantly see the struggle between maintaining conscious attention in the real world and the overwhelming pull we feel towards the digital one. And in my unprofessional opinion, neuroplasticity has made us increasingly digitally proficient, but at a cost of being digitally dependent. And if being hired on as a London cab driver can change your brain on an MRI scan, and if life experiences like PSD can alter the DNA in sperm, what irreversible alterations will 30,000 hours of staring into algorithmically fed state of hypnosis do to the human mind or to their offspring? And in this short breath of time, we live in a state of existence that quite possibly no one else in world history has. We have both access to instant global connectivity, infinite information, and consumer-level access to artificial intelligence, but we're the last few humans in world history who remember what life was like before it. We are the last living people in history to have experienced life before the digital age. And I fear that it may become nearly impossible for younger generations to even differentiate the digital world from the real one before the end of my lifetime. There is nothing inherently wrong with technology, there is nothing wrong with instant connection, and there is nothing intrinsically bad about access to abundant information. But what is bad is the lack of control and agency we have over these systems, and without realizing it, we are being programmed, and our culture is becoming commodified. Therefore, the more time we spend on these digital information systems, the more we revert to the mean of one of a fixed set of broad internet cohorts. In other words, the more time we spend online, the more commoditized our culture, the more tribal our psychology, and the more vulnerable we become. When the floods first came to Western North Carolina last year, where I used to live, there were tens of thousands of people who showed up to help from all over the country. No one asked them, no one paid them, and most of the world has no idea they were ever even there. I was there the same day that the governor of North Carolina came for his little photo op. He made a public announcement that day saying that the current statewide death toll with the floods, He made a public announcement that day with the current statewide death toll of the floods. But that same morning alone, volunteer veterans with cadaver dogs that I had met with had pulled 15 bodies out of a single pile of debris near the KOA campground in Swannanoa. The statewide count at that point had to have been well into the hundreds. I believe the number the governor used that day was 28. In fact, there was a reefer truck that sat for 2 days full of bodies because the morgues were overflowing. And while FEMA was hoarding donated generators and denying people on their applications, it was the nobodies of the world that were driving ATVs and Jeeps with chainsaws up mountain roads rescuing people. There was 2 guys we met that hot-wired a bulldozer from a quarry to cut a navigable path through a washed-out road in 2 days that the state said would take months, allowing supplies to people who hadn't had contact with anyone in over a week. Volunteers were working 16 hours a day, taking supplies on everything from horses to helicopters. It was humanity there in front of my very eyes. And it was in that 7 days in North Carolina that changed everything for me. It was people saving people. Even with lack of leadership, failed protocols, and overwhelming inefficiency from the state, the nobodies took up the slack. And so I'm just here to remind you that we don't need our false idols. We should no longer rely on politicians who bow down to money to manage our city or our states. We need to find the real leaders everywhere and empower them. Western North Carolina was proof to me that there is an army of good people left in this world who want to do good things. We just have to give them places to gather and give them the ability to act. And so I close with this. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong, for like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And so I'll see you on April the 5th in Spruce Pine, North Carolina for the first official gathering. It is now my life's mission to revive rural America one town at a time. It's called the Rural Revival Project. So thank you for listening.
Now, was that moving or not? Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on such a performance by this gentleman that has gone out of his way and continues to decide to help those people that are in need of help in Western North Carolina and around the region, to where he grew up and understands how these people are fighting to save their time and life. So give us a reaction here. Give us some comments to work with, and let us make sure that everyone knows how your feelings are as well. But use the comment section below, and please share this video with everyone that you can, because it is an important message that we all need to receive. And I'm not sure or care if you're on the left side of the aisle or the right side of the aisle or an independent. This has to move you into wanting to do something. And for God's sake, don't sit on social media listening to people that do not matter. The people that matters are right next door to you and down the street from you and then the next community over from you. These are people that feel that their life is worthless, and it's not. And we need to let them know that and help in any fashion we can. Not just wait for the Salvation Army kettles to come out around Christmas time and feel that you've helped somebody. That does help, and the angel trees help, and the things that you have put forth already to help the people in need are fine. But we need to do a little more. In the faith-based programs that are being offered by your local churches, check into them. The priests and the preachers in these churches know who is down and out and in need of something, and you can quietly make sure that those people get the help or some help that they need that is in your purview to provide for your fellow man, the children of God that we all are. We need to pay attention more to not the celebrities, not the football players, the baseball players, and people with opinions that come out of Hollywood that makes no difference. These people have the wherewithal and have been overpaid for so long that they should be stepping up in not only their own communities, but helping people that are in dire need. And now that we have uncovered the billions and billions of dollars that went to useless programs that are not even related to our country in the hopes of changing the moral values of society around the world, let's just take a look at our borders and decide that we need to bring back the morality that we used to have and this country was built on and help the people that need the help. So, it's hard to watch that speech this morning and not feel a pain in your heart and a drive to go out and give something to someone that is not asking for it, that is plodding through life, thinking that they're lesser of a person because society has determined that they didn't care any longer about them. We would rather bring in a new population of foreigners just for a vote and turn our back on Western North Carolina and California and places that are in need right now where people have lost everything. The most important thing is that we have to remember every day that people are living in this country paycheck to paycheck, and we now have an administration that wants to change that and wants to bring back prosperity to this country one more time. And he is being fought on every front by the Democrats and the people who put us all in the situation that we have to live in every day now, while they have 2 and 3 homes, private aircraft, and all the money that their family and they will ever need based on the back of you, me, and the rest of the population that is America. It is a short trip when it's all said and done to answer for the things you did not do when you were here on this planet. And you have people now waking up to the fact that if we do not help each other, there is no politician and there is no athlete and there is no actor or actress that's going to knock on your door and give you the help that you need. There are 2 places you're going to get help from. That's your fellow man and the man upstairs, God Almighty, his Son Jesus Christ, and the angels that stick with us every day and try on our shoulder to tell us right from wrong. And some people have lost that ability. So with that, we'll go into a little touch of politics here, because I can't help myself. Mike Pence. If you remember him, well, he's reared his head one more time and decided to tell Donald Trump that he's wrong. So here, just take a look.
Your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
You are an incredibly big piece of shit.
You're still here?
Well, it's not my concern.
It's over.
We've had enough of Mike Pence. He's finished. He should get a club car with James Carville and have a party in New Orleans, because he's done. James Carville was on with Hannity last night, which was very, very interesting at best. He believes that they're coming back in the midterm elections to take back the House, and that they're not done. And Donald Trump's approval ratings are in the toilet, according to him. I believe that Hannity put him on last night just to show America how far one person can sink. He did compliment him when the Clinton administration was trying to get hold of the waste in the government and balance the budget, and did some good things. Bill Clinton was not a bad president, and I'm not here to tell you that he was a great president, but he did a good job. And Carville was a big help in getting him elected, as was he helped to covering up a lot about Obama, so he got elected. But he is an old man now that is not going to give up the left side of things and continue to cajole the public into thinking that the Democratic Party is a party of the people. And now we know, having a people's president on our behalf right now, watching what is taking place, aside from the lies that you'll get from mainstream media about him trying to close the post office for his own benefit. The post office has been gushing money for years. We all know that. And it's not that privatization of it. It is more that they want to get it to a money-making point of view and stop people like Prime, Bezos, and FedEx, and people of that nature that's using the post office to do their deliveries, and then behind them building their own delivery methods. The mail will always be the mail, and I cannot see it going away. I can see it getting streamlined. I can see it getting better service, and I can see it not gushing loss of our tax dollars, period. But the news media will try to paint it in a different view for you. They paint nice pictures of what's a falsehood and then make you believe that it's the truth. Fair and Balanced has left the building when it comes to most of the mainstream legacy media's that we all used to watch. Right now, it's difficult to watch because it seems like every 35 seconds you have a pharmaceutical commercial shoved in your face. And I'm hoping that RFK Jr. is going to put a stop to that. We're the only country in the world that allows that. And let's put it back in the hands of our wonderful doctors and healthcare professionals, not administrators, to decide how our drugs are being used and for what they are being used for. These off-label products that they're pushing through the internet are not FDA controlled. You may have heard something recently about that as far as these ED drugs and things of that nature have been questioned now because they're not controlled by our industry that is tasked with that performance of controlling what you put into your body, along with what's in your food today. Processed food has been shown to be harmful, cancer-causing, and in some cases probably related to some of the rise in the autism numbers that you're looking at among the young. And that's strictly my opinion and my opinion only, but I think RFK has a pretty good handle on what he needs to be looking at, and mainstream media doesn't want to have any of that heard, and it continues that way. This is the crickets that you hear about anything that may wake up the public and tell them that there may be a problem here and there. So with that, we have to maintain our control over what our children eat and what the intake of our children's pharmaceuticals are as well. So it's Friday. We're looking forward to a good weekend. We did not get to the butcher shop yesterday. The main reason for that was icy roads that were here. It didn't get much above 25 degrees yesterday, so it stayed frozen, but the snow is dissipated off the roads now, probably due to the salting amount that went down. But we'll be out today to see Butch at Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop. And don't forget, you'll see their number here at the end of this video. And give them a call today. Tell them what you need. And if you're in the area, you can run by and pick it up. Or if you like something shipped to your home, give them a call. You may not get it for the weekend because it is Friday, but you can always have them package up a box and get it to you early next week, and you'll have it on hand, flash frozen, and when you taste it, you will reorder. It's a fabulous place. So I will ask you all for this weekend to please say a prayer for our government officials that are working so hard to turn things around. Say a prayer for our enemies overseas that do not want to see peace come to the wars that are existing both in the Middle East and up in the Ukraine area. And let's pray and pray hard for our president that he can succeed in bringing about the wonderful programs that he is talking about implementing for we, the people, that have asked him for this. And we have faith that he will continue and the process will even more speed up in the next few months. We know that nothing can be done in 4 weeks' time to change an economy and to lower the inflation that has been brought to you by the Harris-Biden administration. And I call it the Harris-Biden administration because I don't think Joe had very much to do with any decisions that were made in his entire presidency. I think it was done by bureaucrats, and I believe that bureaucrats were headed up by Harris, and we all know now the clueless administration has caused us more problems and more things to fix before we can get right back on the track of where we were in 2018 and 19 before COVID decided to take over and bring a halt to the good things that were happening in and around the world. It just ruined an entire population of people that were locked away. Education went tumbling down the hill, and Jack and Jill came tumbling after because they weren't learning anything from their computers at home. And the reason the teachers union are fighting against cleaning up the Department of Education is pure and simple. They got what they needed during COVID, sat at home, and in some cases, worked on scrapbooks instead of teaching your children. And it's come out and needs to be fixed because it cannot continue for us to sit in the 40th position out of 40 in education worldwide. We cannot let the Chinese and Europeans outdo us in education in these times where it is a wonderful time to be alive with the new innovations that are being talked about, quantum computing and going to space and having a rocket come back down and land itself rather than throw it in the ocean. It's incredible time to be alive. And if we stop long enough to smell the roses and look at the wonderful, wonderful things that can be, unburdened by the past 4 years, we'll be a whole lot better off as a nation, as a world, under God for a change, and stop all this silliness. And with that, we're going to say, have a great weekend coming up. We'll be back to you on Monday unless something huge breaks over the weekend. So stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more commentary and a look around Appalachia. God bless you all, and please subscribe and share this channel with your friends and family. Bye-bye now.